Hello. Today we are going to see some strategies for the fifth part of the reading and use of English test of the exams B2 First, previously known as First Certificate in English or FCE, and C1 Advanced, which was previously known as CAE or Certificate in Advanced English. As you can see in this part, you basically only have a long text, which is generally a narrative text, as well as a set of multiple choice questions. Something that is quite relevant for this part, especially if we pay attention to question number 31 in this case, is that the questions always make reference to specific parts of the text. For example, here, question 31 makes reference to the first paragraph. So, let's read the question. In the first paragraph, what is Caitlin's main motivation about the island? We will see that the right answer will be actually this one. It is only completely cut off at certain times. Cut off means cancelled. That is something that will be probably important to mention at this point. So, let's keep that in mind. There. Considering that cut off means cancelled, we are going to see what we can do about all these here in the text. All right. So if we look here at this point, we will see that starting from, but when there is a high tide, they will mention that the island is actually cut off here because basically you know it's an island because you cannot cross to the continent. Something important about the strategies in general is that after this question, you never need to go back to the first paragraph. The test will never ask you to go back to a previous paragraph. In order to make this video shorter, we are only going to do 3 questions from here. Let's take one from the middle, so just so we can see a few things. For example, in the 4th paragraph, what is Caitlin's purpose in describing the island? We are going to see about that now. Maybe it's to express her positive feelings about it, or to explain how the road was built, or to illustrate what kind of weather was usual, or to describe her journey home. Something that we should mention at this point is that the language will never be exactly the same in the alternatives and in the text. That is what we call parallel. All right. That's what we call parallel language. And it basically involves using synonyms and similar expressions, but never exactly the same words. So, cleaning this, we go back to the text. 4th paragraph then. So, we are basically focusing right here. So, reading the whole paragraph, we can see this. As we approached the island on that Friday afternoon, the tide was low and the stand, which is a bridge that they mention here, welcomed us home, stretched out before us, clear and dry, beautifully hazy in the heat, a raised strip of gray concrete bound by white railings and a low footpath on either side, with rough cobbled banks leading down to the water. Beyond the railings, the water was glinting with that wonderful silver light we sometimes get here in the late afternoon, which laces through to the early evening. Something that will be relevant is actually right here. She shares some positive expressions. Basically, she describes this because she likes it. We are going to see that option. So the idea here is in letter A, to express her positive feelings about it. Finally, we are going to focus on question number 36, the last question of this section. What do we learn about Caitlin's reaction to the boy? We are going to see which is the correct answer among these alternatives. A, she felt his air of confidence contrasted with his physical appearance. B, she was able to come up with a reason for him being there. C, she realized her first impressions of him was inaccurate. And D, he thought he had seen him somewhere else. We are going to see which option has, as we mentioned before, the parallel language that really matches one of these alternatives. So let's go back to the text. In the last paragraph then, we have this. As we drew closer, he became clearer. He was actually a young man rather than a boy. Although he was on the small side, he wasn't as slight as I had first thought. He wasn't exactly muscular, but he wasn't weedy looking either. It's hard to explain. There was a sense of strength about him, a graceful strength that showed in his balance, the way he held himself, the way he walked. So if we go back to the alternatives, we will have to remember this part first. He wasn't as slight, meaning weak or thin, as I first thought. We are going to remember that. So here we have this idea. She realized her first impression of him was inaccurate, was not precise. So, what can we take from this part of the exam? First, that the questions are in order. They are always in order for part 5. Something else we can take is that the alternatives and the text use what we call parallel language. This is basically the kind of strategies we learn in our courses in Radical English to prepare for international exams. These strategies, other than helping you to get to the right answers that you need to have a good score in your test, also give you the possibility to save some valuable time that you can dedicate to other parts. So, if you would like to know more about this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us in all our other social media networks. Thank you.